Hi, thanks for joining. It's Patty from pspapercrafts. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm going to show you some product from the new annual catalog. It's called the Countryside Suite. And this is the card that will make something similar. We're going to use a different pattern here and a different sentiment. But isn't that pretty? It says just a note. And then when you open it up, it's just, I have the designer series paper. I don't usually put a sentiment inside. But in this suite, there's this great bundle called Countryside Corners, and there are coordinating dies. And I was a little surprised that this is one stamp. I thought it was going to be a stamp for each of these. And I thought to myself, how are you going to make them straight? And when I opened it and saw it's just one stamp, I was a little like, So you have to stamp the whole thing, but I'm happy. I mean, I guess you can cut out each thing. I'm happy with it because it's just solid and you don't have to worry about it getting all funny. And then there are coordinating dies that we'll be using. And I love that there's dies that you can just kind of layer and have mats behind things. And I think it's really great. I think this would be great for scrapbooking too, to do pictures and put mats behind it. And then there's an embossing folder. And this is not a 3D. It's the one that the old-fashioned ones. And it really is very pretty. And I want to show you that one of the papers, this folder actually will emboss. I don't know if you can see this. This is designer series paper. This is a card I made for a card sketch, and it actually embossed this pattern, and I'll show you that paper. So let's go through the papers, but I thought that was cool. You know, a lot of time we have dies that cut out paper, but I don't know that we usually have an embossing folder. So this is the sheet that I used, and this is the back. So it's all blues. It actually reminds me of Laura Ashley. Do you remember Laura Ashley? Wallpaper and bedding and all of that stuff. So I guess I should have had this set up a little bit different. Let me put this on the side. So this is the sheet. So when you do your embossing, you can actually, you know, do it on its own, but you can line this up, which I thought was so cool. I mean, this is just part of the sheet. You can line it up. It's probably not going to work because it's just a piece to go right around this. I don't know if you can see that, but it fits right. I'm a little off, but it fits right around this. Isn't that so pretty? I think that's brilliant. So that's that one sheet. And let me just show you some of the other papers. So that we're seeing. And then we have these rabbits, which I'm not sure of. I don't know. They're cute, but I don't know that they do much for me. And there's a lot of stripes, and I think this is like the Laura Ashley look for me. I think this is very pretty. Here's the rabbits again. And the birds. There's a lot of stripes. That's the one that you can emboss. I like this one. This is what we're going to use today. The foxes. So we'll put that aside. And I think this is my favorite out of all of them. These trees. There's just something about all the different blues that I really like. So let's put this aside. And so we're going to make the same card, only we're going to use a piece of the fox. And the way I did this was I tried to find, and you are going to waste a little bit of paper with it. I took my die and I went around like, I don't want the two foxes. I want this guy all by himself. So I'm going to cut across at 4, and then I'll run this through my die cutting machine. So let me get my trimmer. So I just want to get my ruler here and make sure that 4 is going to be a little tight. It would have to be up there. I kind of want him in the center. So I'm going to cut it down because I don't want to waste too much paper. 6.5. I'm going to cut it down to 5 because I'll probably do 5 1/4 or something like that. So let's just get started with that. And you know, you can always use your scraps. I was thinking this paper would be really good for people who make the quilt cards with scraps. I thought this would be a good pattern for that. So I'm going to cut it down at 5. We'll just cut it right down. And then you can cut these, you know, at 4. I guess I could have cut it at 5 1/4 to make it but we're good. We're going to go with this. Okay, so now I want to get this right here, and I think he's just so cute. So I'm going to get my die cutting machine. And I'll get my plates. And while we have this out, we're going to also do our embossing. So I have my base, my number 2, a cutting plate. Look at how bad this is. And then a top plate. And I try to keep my top plates not being cut. You could see I kind of goofed a couple of times so that they don't have impressions, especially for if you're using something like a white piece that you want to put a sentiment on. I don't like to have the impression on it. So I know this is upside down, but I'm just going to get it centered. We'll put my top plate on and just run it through. I'm a little off there. Okay, and we'll just run it through. I'm going to go back so I don't bend this down. I mean, I probably could have cut this a little bit smaller before I put it in the machine, but I don't know. And then, you know, you could always use this as a layer and cover this up with something else. You know, put another kind of layer on it, like if you did this, something like that. Okay, so you're not wasting this. That's my key point. So now we have this piece, and I already cut these pieces. Isn't he cute? I think he's cute. Okay, so let's put this back. And then I'm going to get my embossing folder, and I'm going to emboss just the layer. So with this type of embossing folder, you're not going to, I'm having it just lined up right along the line here. You're not going to use your 3D embossing plate because it's not a 3D folder. So you'll take out, you'll have your base, you'll take out your number 2, you'll put your bottom plate, and then I like to put the fold in first and put the top plate in and then run it through. Sorry for the shaking. I try to go slow so it's not too shaky. Okay, so let's take this out, put this on the table here, and let's see how it looks. It's so pretty. You see that? And even this side is pretty, the deboss side. So let's get our pieces. I have my card base, and this is a top folding card, so it opens like this. It's Night of Navy, and all I did was cut a piece of 8.5 by 11 at 4 1/4 and then scored it at 5 1/2, and that gets you the top folding. Okay, and then this is going here, and then these will go here. So let's get that going, and then we'll do the sentiment, and I'll show you how that all works. So I'm going to use some liquid glue, and I'm just going to build my layers here. And I just love this little fox, and I do love the little bird too. This reminds me maybe of Pennsylvania Dutch. So we have a cross between Laura Ashley and Pennsylvania Dutch. What do you think? I love them both, so it's good by me. And I love Night of Navy and white. I think it's very classic and a nice combination. So whatever adhesive you like, just put it together, build your layers. I do like the liquid glue for an embossed layer. I like it all the time anyway, for most of my things, because it gives you that little bit of time to move it. But with the embossed layer, it gets in all those little, you know, valleys and mountains, or what I call the nooks and crannies. So we're going to just put this right over that center beautiful piece, but I think it adds a lot around. So make sure it's not crooked. So easy to do once you have everything cut out, boy. It goes right together. And then we'll just center this so that there's a little bit of a border around it of the Night of Navy. So pretty. So now let's play with this. Let's put this on this nice big stamp. And I used my Stamparatus. I know we're no longer carrying the Stamparatus, so sad. But there are other tools, stamp positioning tools. I think the original was the Misty. Let me get it here. And that's a great tool. So if you have that, that would work. So we're just going to open up the door. And this is, I believe, my inside layer. So let's put that aside. And we'll just get a piece of basic white. And we're just going to line it up wherever we want it. Put a magnet on it. Put this down. It's pretty tight, but I think it will work. Maybe I'll get a bigger piece, because then if we want to use, I thought it would be big enough. Let's use this one and I'll get another inside piece. Because I want to eventually cut it out, I want to have enough space around it to cut it. So this piece is 4 by 5 1/4, my standard inside piece. And then we just close the door and press, and it will pick up the stamp. And I like to put my stamp case underneath here so it's stable. And we'll get our Night of Navy ink. You could use Balmy Blue, that's another color in here. Let's see what other colors are in this. I've got my whole pile of paper here. So it's Balmy Blue, Boho Blue, which is a new ink color, Misty Moonlight, another new color that came back, and Night of Navy. So it's all blues, blue, blue, blue. So let's ink this up. And the other good thing about the stamp positioning tool is that if it doesn't ink up good the first time, you can go back and it's in the right position to just ink it up and stamp it again. So if this didn't come out good, I could go back, ink it up, press it down, and it's in the perfect position. But this looks good to me. So let's put this aside. And I was trying to find a sentiment that would fit right in here because I'm only going to cut out these flowers. So for this card, the Just a Note, I use the Happy Labels, Just a Note. And then for this card, I'm going to use the Sending Smiles, and I could do a card to say hello. I have a note to thanks mounted, so we're going to go with that. And I'll just take this, ink it up, and then just stamp it right in the middle of this. Because I wanted this size. I look like I cut off the top. Let's see if we can get this lined up. I did it. I just missed the corner there, the top of the K and KS, so I think it worked. So let's close this up. Now we take our dies, and you can cut out any of these. So they just all work together. If you wanted a bigger piece, you can cut this. They all work together. So, and then there's this little tiny one, and I think there's another stamp set that coordinates with this. So we want this, the smallest open one, and it goes right around here. Okay, and I'm going to get a piece of my Post-it tape just to make sure it stays lined up. That looks good. We'll put it right down like this. Put this aside. Get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back out. I need to add in that one plate, the number 2, because I'm cutting. So I have a number 1, a number 2, my bottom cutting plate. We'll put this on. Top cutting plate. and we'll run it through. So the Post-it tape, you could use a Post-it note or you could use washi tape or anything. It just helps it from shifting. And this wouldn't be too bad. Sometimes you really need to make sure things don't shift. Okay, so let's take this out. So you can even do a layer and have this go over, you know, and put something in there. So you can mix and match these. I think they're a great little set, little fun thing to do. So let's put this back. Let's get our card out. And I could have had the next size up and put a border around this, but I thought it would be too much, too bulky. I wanted something nice and pretty and sweet. So let's put this on with some dimensionals. I'll put 3 down. And then we'll put some bling on it. A note of thanks. I think this would be cute too for a little birthday card for a kid. If you put happy birthday in here. So on this one I used my iridescent pearls. I'm going to do the same here because I wanted something very tiny. Let me get this one out. No, let's see. I don't know if I want teeny tiny ones. I'm thinking I can put it in some of the flowers on this one. So we'll put one here. Did I get it? I did. Upside down. I just really always pick these up and they go upside down. 1, 2, and we'll put one down there. 3. Okay, and now let's do the inside layer, which let me just step away and get. So this is another kind of card that, I don't know, I probably wouldn't put another sentiment. I'm just going to leave it blank, and I thought I had a piece of, oh, I need to cut a piece. Since I didn't cut up this paper, I didn't cut a piece yet. So let's get this little foxy guy, and I'm trying to see what area I want. Let's cut this down. So I'm going to cut it by 4. And then I'll cut it down kind of around the fox. So 4 is the width of that inside layer. And then let's just cut it. I usually do like 3/4. I'm going to go a little bit bigger than 3/4, so it's not a real measurement. So I'm doing, let's see what it is. It is like 7/8. Or no, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7/8. So it's 4 by 7/8, but I'm really not doing the measurement as much as I'm doing getting the fox in. Right? That's cute. So we'll just put this down. I mean, you could just put a plain piece down there too, or you could stamp a sentiment, or if you wanted to, you could even cut out the fox. Let's put them the right way. All right. Put this away. And let's put this down. And then we have our card done. I think they're cute. I love the blues. And I think this is a nice kind of note, just a note, you know, just a note for over there and a note of thanks. Especially for a guy, you know, everything is so floral. I think this would be, if you wanted to thank a guy for doing something, this would be a perfect one. All right, so these are the 2 cards. I hope you give this suite a try. If you need any help with the new catalog, let me know. You can email me, patty@pspapercrafts.com, or you can leave me a message here, a comment. And if you like this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. All right, thanks. And I also have a special this month that I'll have on my blog at the bottom of this. I don't know what it is yet. I'm doing this ahead of time because I'm going to Florida for 2 weeks and I haven't figured all that stuff out yet. So, all right, you have a good day. Thanks. Bye.